And good Sunday evening, everybody. NTV Chief Meteorologist Eddie Sheerr coming to you from home. No work tonight, at least in the traditional sense, but there has been a lot of chatter about our incoming low. I guess a storm for some folks, but not really a storm for tomorrow. There has been quite a bit of uncertainty with this system really for the last couple of days now. And up until I think this afternoon, the computer models really weren't in good agreement on a couple of things, mainly the track of the low. And the track of the low will make all the difference in who gets snow and who gets rain. And yesterday, some computer models were taking the low, very strong low at that, over central Newfoundland, bringing another strong storm to areas like Gander and Grand Falls, Windsor. And then last night and this morning, and even getting into this afternoon, the trend with this system has been less strong, less amplified, and therefore less snowfall. But it also has become, I should say, the models have also gotten into better agreement as to where that low is going to track, and it looks like it's going to track right over the isthmus of the Avalon Peninsula, which does present some precipitation type problems for the Avalon as well as the Burin Peninsula. The Avalon Peninsula, I think we see just a little bit of snow this time, and more than likely I think we're going to see, for the most part, rain, ice pellets, and freezing rain. Although with the way the setup for the system is, I'm leaning more towards rain just because we don't have a whole lot of cold air in place as of today. As you know, it was 4 or 5 degrees. So let's just sort of jump into it. I'll get over some of the nitty-gritty details, and after I'm done going over the weather briefing, I will check Facebook and Twitter, and I'll try and answer any questions that you have. And I'm going to hold them to the end just to keep this a bit more organized and my thought process a bit streamlined. So we'll just start with the latest watches and warnings that Environment Canada has put out. So I'll share my screen with you, and you can see only eastern Newfoundland has the current watches and warnings. And the yellow is a winter storm watch, which includes areas like Bay of Exploits, Bonavista North, Bonavista Peninsula currently under a winter storm watch. It looks like Clarenville and vicinity under a winter storm watch. Gander is under a winter storm watch. Grand Falls and vicinity also currently under a winter storm watch. Canagra Peninsula, Terra Nova area under snowfall warnings. I do agree with that to a point, but I think the area that's going to see the most snow out of this is going to be the Bonavista Peninsula. So I wouldn't be surprised if either that warning gets shifted east, or we see the Bonavista Peninsula added into this warning, and I think the Clarenville area may also see quite a bit of snow out of this. And I say quite a bit, I think probably 15-20 centimeters will be about the max anybody sees with this system. It's a fast mover, it doesn't have a lot of strength with it, and it's sort of strengthening as it goes by, and it all lends to less snowfall rather than more snow, mainly based on the speed. Avalon Peninsula, Burin Peninsula currently under just special weather statements, meaning, hey, there's a chance we could see some wintry type weather, which I think is possible, but I think the Avalon especially, I'm leaning more towards rain or a mixture of rain and snow at this point, with very little in the way of snow accumulation. So it's always good to start with, getting a look at the satellite and radar imagery, and we can see some rain showers into western Nova Scotia right there. So that just gives you a good indication of temperatures. If we're seeing rain in southern and western Nova Scotia, there's not a whole lot of cold air around right now, and there isn't. There was last week, but right now there's not a lot of cold air. And so that right there leads me to believe we're going to have precipitation type issues across eastern and southeastern Newfoundland, just right off the bat. The other thing we can look at is temperatures. This is Wonderground, and they have a really cool map called the Wonder Map, and I'm showing it to you right now, and it basically shows temperatures and wind speeds. Wind speeds here are these little barbs on the end of this line here. The line is the wind direction, and the barbs are wind speed, and each full barb is 10 knots. So we're looking at 20 knot winds just offshore. Let me turn the map into dark. I think it's a bit easier to see that way. And I mean, if you're looking at temperatures across Nova Scotia, it's warm there. 0 near Sydney, 4 just north of Halifax, and 7 just north of Yarmouth. And as we get up into New England and the States, temperatures are well above 0, between 3 and 5 degrees. And if you notice the wind direction, all out of the southwest. So all of this moderated air is trying to get pushed up into Newfoundland. So as a meteorologist, you're trying to look for hints and trends that could either make or break a forecast. And in this case, I mean, we have warm air to the southwest, and that warm air is trying to come north. And so the setup is not great for snow. Right off the bat, the setup is not great for snow, especially along the southern coastline here. And so then you start to look at the computer models. And I think this computer model I'm going to share with you, I've used on there a few times. It's called the GFS. I think it's got a pretty good handle on a couple of things, on precipitation type, placing the precipitation types, I should say, and the low placement. Basically, all the computer models have come into a decent agreement on the low placement this evening. So we're going to start this tonight, and you can see that not a whole lot is going on. Just a couple of things to get off right off the bat here. This red line, that is the 32-degree line, so anything below that line is warmer than 32 degrees. This is a 35-degree line. Anything below that is warmer than 35 degrees. And basically what you can say is almost anything south of this line is definitely rain, this blue line. Anything south of this line could be a mix, or it could be snow. It just depends. And north of that is all snow. So this is as of 8:30 tomorrow morning. We're getting some light snow developing across southeastern Newfoundland. Very, very light at that time. I think the snow and rain really start getting going around between about, we'll say 10 o'clock, well, we'll say between 8:30 and 11:30. So this is, yeah, we'll say right between like 8 and noon, we'll see the precipitation overspreading the island. And this model is showing what it's going to look like at 2:30 tomorrow afternoon. So at 2:30 tomorrow afternoon, we are seeing a mix on the Avalon. So we've seen snow on the Avalon quickly changing over to ice pellets and or rain. I think we're going to have very little in the way of transition mix tomorrow. I think it's going to be snow pretty quickly over to rain just based on current temperatures. But just west of the Avalon, we are seeing these darker blues showing up, including on the Burin Peninsula, which indicates potentially snow. Now, I'm not sold on the snow for the Burin Peninsula, and I have looked at a couple of things, and I'll delve into that in just a minute. As we go into tomorrow evening, that is now 8:30 tomorrow evening. The low is passing just over the Avalon Peninsula. We are seeing rain there, and it looks like the rain-snow line at that point is basically right over the isthmus of the Avalon, and the model is painting a bit of freezing rain across the Burin Peninsula tomorrow evening. I'm not sure I buy that, but certainly is a possibility. Looks like some lighter snow as we get out towards Grand Falls along the south coastline, and it still looks like some heavier snow on the Bonavista Peninsula and getting into the sort of Terra Nova, Bonavista North area. And then as we go into tomorrow evening, that is 2:30 in the morning. The low is pulling away, and the precipitation is winding down as flurries just about everywhere. So how much snow is the big question? Okay, that's what everybody wants to know, and this model is forecasting a swath of snow. You see it right there. Not much on the Avalon. I mean, here's your scale right here. It's in inches. I mean, so we're seeing 1-2 inches on the Avalon, which is maybe 5 centimeters. That's it. So a couple centimeters on the Avalon, and then we get a change over to ice pellets and eventually rain. So not a big deal. Roads could be a bit messy, but that's how it looks tonight. Just west of the Avalon, that's where it looks like we see these darker colors. So that's 6-7 inches, 15-20 centimeters it looks like for Clarenville, and as we get up on the Bonavista Peninsula. And with this track of the low, right over the Avalon, or I should say basically right over the Avalon or western Avalon at that, I think the Bonavista Peninsula will come away with the most snow out of this. That I'm nearly certain of. That or slightly just west of there, possibly Gander, depending on the track, but I think the models are right. Bonavista Peninsula, Bonavista area, Clarenville, see the most snow out of this. Burin, Northern Burin Peninsula looks like 15-20 centimeters. Southern Burin Peninsula looks like probably 5 to 15 area, and then less as we get west of there. Now, some computer models have this band a little farther west, and some have it right here. That I can't say for sure. It's just going to depend on the track. But as you can see, this is not a very big snowmaker for any particular area whatsoever. 15-20 centimeters tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening, and that pretty much will about do it. So again, in summary, it looks like just west of the Avalon Peninsula, Clarenville area, Bonavista area, Bonavista Peninsula, that's where it looks like the heaviest snow is going to fall. Again, 10-20 centimeters. That should pretty much be it. The snow should be fairly wet. Burin Peninsula is a bit more of a question mark because it's so borderline there. We have the warmer temperatures to start with, which does not bode well for snow. But the low is passing so close that we could get into some heavier precipitation bands, and sometimes that can produce snow if it's borderline. So if it's lighter precip, it'd be rain. If it's heavier precipitation, it'd be snow. Now, the computer models haven't been very good with precipitation type the last couple of storms. So my thoughts on the Burin Peninsula are this: about 5 to 15 centimeters of snow possible. It just is going to depend on the track and what the precipitation type is, just because it's going to be so borderline. West of there, 5-10 centimeters from the Conagra, possibly the Conagra Peninsula may see 10 to 15, 20 centimeters if the track is farther west. If not, it looks like 5 to 10, 5 to 15. And then as we get basically west of a line from the Conagra Peninsula up through Terra Nova, Gander area, shouldn't be more than 5-10 centimeters. That should be just about it. On the Avalon, again, it looks like it's going to be snow developing tomorrow morning, quickly changing to ice pellets, a brief period of freezing rain, and then over to rain. I'm not expecting anything more than 4 to 8 centimeters at the very most. I think will be sort of right around 5 centimeters. So I hope this helps to clarify some of your questions about this. And then again, as far as temperatures go tomorrow, again, it looks like Avalon Peninsula will get to 2-3 degrees tomorrow afternoon, possibly a bit warmer. West of there, temperature should be very close to freezing. And the wind with this one shouldn't be as strong either. 50, 60, 70 kilometers an hour, that should be about it. I don't even know if they're going to get that high. Typically when the low goes right overhead, your wind speeds are not that strong. So I'm going to see if I have any questions on Facebook or Twitter at the moment. Brenda Armstrong on Twitter is asking if we're going to have a storm-free week. That's the funniest joke I've heard all day. No, it doesn't look like it. It actually looks like another fairly strong storm for Wednesday, Thursday time frame. That one could bring a good deal of snow to central Newfoundland. At least that's how it looks now. And then it looks like another possible storm toward the weekend next week. Track of that one, and the other one's still sort of way up in the air. That being said, looks like the first one favors central Newfoundland. Eastern looks like another mix to rain. And then this storm for next weekend looks like it's sort of a toss-up at this time. So let me see if I have any questions on Facebook. Let's see, on my Facebook page, people are happy about the rain. Not gonna lie, I don't mind rain. It's a lot easier to clean up. That's for certain. I wonder if there's any questions on the YouTube page. I'm trying not to get any feedback. I'm sorry, folks, no questions there either. Okay, so if you have any questions and you are watching, feel free to hit me up on Twitter. I'm Eddie Sheerr on Twitter. And if you want to ask me questions on Facebook, I'm Meteorologist Eddie Sheerr on Facebook. And then Google+, you can find me as Eddie Sheerr there. But honestly, I just hope this clarified some of the questions some of you guys had. So again, just in closing, I know I've repeated myself a couple of times now. It looks like the Avalon Peninsula tomorrow will see snow developing, a couple of centimeters quickly changing over to ice pellets, freezing rain, and that's it. Starts late morning, ends early evening. Roads should be a little bit messy, but certainly nothing we can't handle. West of the Avalon, Clarenville area, Bonavista Peninsula, Bonavista North, possibly Terra Nova and Gander area. That's where it looks like the highest snowfall amounts are going to be. 10 to 20 centimeters looks like a good forecast, at least tonight. I'll have an update for you tomorrow. Burin Peninsula, Conagra Peninsula, I think it will be all snow. It just depends on track. Track's a little farther west. 10, 20 centimeters for you. Tracks over the Isthmus of the Avalon looks like 5 to 15. Burin Peninsula could be 10 to 20 centimeters of snow, especially on the northern side. Southern half of it looks like it's going to be possibly snow to rain or just plain old rain. So again, pretty wide range for the Burin Peninsula, about 5 to 15 centimeters. I'm just not sold on the fact we're going to see snow down there just because the setup is not great for this system for snow across southeastern Newfoundland. The setup is just not ideal. Okay, so I hope that helped. Have a great night. I will see you tomorrow on the NTV Evening News Hour starting around 5:30 with Tony Marie Wiseman, and I will have updates for you tomorrow morning on our incoming storm, possibly again later tonight on my Facebook and Twitter pages. So, till then, have a great night.